All right, welcome in on this Thursday night, and there's no shortage of questions and drama regarding this Ole Miss-Arkansas game, so we're here to talk about it on this edition of the show. My name is Michael Borky. Always glad that you guys are here, and wow, what a interesting injury report, and a good one if you're an Ole Miss fan. But what a fascinating injury report that we've got tonight after a week of not news necessarily, but word coming out of practice. And is he practicing? Is he going to play? Is he limited? Is Trinidad getting ready? All that stuff. Austin Simmons, will he play against Arkansas? The injury report doesn't even have him on it. So we'll get to all of that. It's still uploading, and it looks like it just finished. I've also got an interview for you with Trey Schaap, who covers Arkansas for 103.7 The Buzz there in Little Rock. Really good conversation there. So a lot to get to on this edition of the show. I'm glad that you guys are here. And let's get into it. The podcast. First of all, I want you to subscribe right here on YouTube. Just hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. We will be live after the game ends on Saturday night, regardless of the result. Also, leave a comment, like, all that good stuff. And wherever you get your podcast, just search Rebel Report, subscribe, and leave a rating and a review. And this edition is brought to you in part by Toyota of Brookhaven. Check them out online at toyotaofbrookhaven.com. They're off of Exit 40 in Brookhaven as well. So if you're in the area, you can shop there just by going by. But check out their online inventory. Their website has a great list there. They'll also give you $1,000 off on me if you just tell them that I sent you. And one of the highest rated service departments in the state, they will take care of you because that's what they do at Toyota of Brookhaven. So check them out and don't forget to tell them that I sent you. So there has been a lot of conversation around Austin Simmons' injury. And this is one of those things, by the way, that you can't fake it. Everybody saw it happen on the field in the Kentucky game. Everybody saw Trinidad come in and replace Austin Simmons in the Kentucky game. Now, I know he came out and took the final knee, but there was an injury there. And I know how funny it is when you say that Ole Miss is not faking an injury, just a little touch of irony there. Let me turn the fan on. But we all saw it happen, right? So this isn't something that you can play games with without there being some shred of truth to what happened, because very clearly there was an injury. For what it's worth, a couple days ago, I had somebody that would know tell me essentially he's going to try to play. Not 100%, but he's going to try to play. That's about all I got. You've seen reporting from other places, including from Chase Parham, who, by the way, I got a few texts on this. I don't think anybody here has brought this up, but Chase Parham did not report that Austin Simmons was out this weekend and Trinidad was starting the game. That is not what he reported. He put nuance and qualifiers in there, and some people, including friends of mine, do not know how to read anything other than just a few lines in a long post from Chase. But it feels like to me at this point, because, again, the injury report is out, and it's not just about Austin Simmons. I mean, Luke Hasz is not listed on the injury report anymore. Was not listed yesterday either, but was not listed tonight. So you know it's not some kind of an error. If the report is to be believed, he is going to play. The only player that is listed as out is Traylon Ray, who was not somebody that was going to play in this game or has not played for Ole Miss yet anyway. And then Jalen Braxton, the Arkansas transfer, listed as questionable. Those are the only two names on the injury report for Ole Miss. And the counter would be, well, you know how Lane Kiffin loves to play games. But when it comes to the injury report, if they get caught messing with it, they are going to get fined. And the SEC is not shy to fine anymore. So if you manipulate your injury report in a way that is truly incorrect, then the league will punish you. They're not messing around with stuff like this. And so I tend to believe it, right, to some degree anyway. So how is it that Austin Simmons is not on the injury report, but also it's been reported all week that like if the game started on Wednesday, he wouldn't start. It would be Trinidad. Things like that. So how do those two things jive together? It kind of can all be true at once. The injury happened. It's clear everybody saw it. It can also be true that he was limited in practice this week. It can also be true that they have worked with Trinidad just in case he has to play. It can also be true that based on the injury report, presumably Austin Simmons is going to try to play, if not ready to go. It doesn't magically erase the injury. It hasn't just disappeared. Something did happen to him. He was in a boot, spotted in a boot, and that's not something that I mean, there's a chance that he's in the boot for the rest of the year just to protect it, So him having that injury and then being in a boot should not have led to some of the fringe panic that I saw anyway. So that there's a chance that he's in that boot for a while just to protect it when he's not playing football or working out or getting ready to play football. So all of those things can be true at once. It is a bizarre situation, though, because this is a program that notoriously does not allow information to get out. And a lot of stuff was getting out of that program this week. It just makes you wonder. Makes you wonder why, what the angle is. But there was an injury. It did happen. I would not be surprised at all if they are going to use Trinidad more, even if Simmons is healthy and can stay healthy for 4 quarters in this game. I hate this, but we'll have to wait and see. We don't know. Not on the injury report. Reliable reporters saying that he's been limited. I was told that he's going to try to play, but not 100%. But he's going to try to play. So what is the truth? I don't know, but I do know that the injury report does not have him on it. And if he was not going to play, I highly doubt that he would be unlisted on the injury report, because if they get caught doing that, they will get punished. So all of that can be true maybe at the same time. I am fascinated, for whatever it's worth. And this is kind of goofy. I know that some people don't like that I talk like this because ideally Austin Simmons would not have gotten hurt at all and he'd be 100%, and this wouldn't even be a discussion topic this week. But one thing that about Lane Kiffin is he is accepting of a challenge. And Austin Simmons and Jackson Dart and Matt Corral are 3 different quarterbacks, but they're kind of similar. They do generally the same stuff. Trinidad is different than the other 3. And the way that they would use him, I think anyway, I could be totally wrong. He has not had real game action against an SEC team before. I know he was really good, really, really good at the Division II level, but his numbers are outstanding. And he showed the athleticism in his limited action against Kentucky. I mean, he beat the entire Kentucky defense to the edge. I mean, he clearly can run. He's very, very, very athletic, and that is abundantly clear. But he hasn't done it against an SEC defense with regularity. So there's really no way to know quite what he has at this level against this level of competition anyway. But I would love to see what Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss Jr. would come up with offensively as a plan in this game, because it is different. And I would think if they spent the week preparing for him to play, or the possibility for him to play, I think Arkansas would see things out of Ole Miss that they have not seen before. That is not on tape, because they would just do this differently, I think, anyway. So I'm fascinated to see how this all works out. Are games being played? Probably to some degree. Is information being leaked to the media to try to build a narrative? Possibly. Lane Kiffin has certainly done that before. And this is a program that keeps things close to the vest. It's what they do. They keep things really tight. But also, we did see an injury happen. It did happen. So, fascinating storyline. I am more interested or possibly concerned, if that's the right word, with if Ole Miss's defense is going to be able to contain Taylon Green, especially in space. Ole Miss is going to have a really sound assignment game, and they're going to have to tackle really well. So that is something to keep an eye on as well. But I'm fascinated by this game and about what this is like with Austin Simmons. It's been a very, very bizarre week for sure. But it's college football, man. That's what makes this fun. All right, we'll get to the interview after I tell you the podcast is brought to you in part by Advantage Business Systems. Check them out online at absms.com. Advantage Business Systems has you covered for all of your Mississippi office technology needs. If you tell them that I sent you, they'll give you a complimentary office technology assessment. You tell them what you need and what your budget is, and they will find a solution for you on me. It's Advantage Business Systems, absms.com for all of your Mississippi office technology needs. Also, Priority One Bank, they make you their priority every single day with their online banking platform. It's a one-stop shop. All you need is an internet connection. You can do whatever it is that you need to do with your money because Priority One Bank makes you their priority. All right, I want you guys to tell me just say, yeah, it sounds good, all good when I hit play on this interview. I had to upload it as I was getting the stream ready, and it took a little bit longer than expected. So just real quick, one or two of you just say, hey, sounds good after I hit play on this just to make sure there's nothing wrong with the file. But here was my conversation with Trey Schaap. Really good stuff. Just previewing the game from the Arkansas perspective. So I'll play that for you now and then read your comments after it's over. Let's start with last year, Trey. We have a resident Arkansas fan that was talking about the disrespect that the Hogs feel for how that game went a year ago. My question, though, is less about the game and more about the team itself. How much of last year's Arkansas team actually exists in 2025, considering the portal and all of the roster movement that we see today?
Yeah, not a whole lot. And that's one thing that I think makes this game pretty interesting on Saturday is the fact that Arkansas has had a little bit of roster turnover, kind of like Ole Miss as well. And so that's something that, hey, look, Ole Miss played an SEC game last week, so they know more about their team than I think Arkansas does because Arkansas obviously playing Alabama A&M to begin the season and then just blew out Arkansas State last week. What do we really know about this Arkansas football team? Yeah, they can put up points, but they put up points on an FCS opponent and a bad Arkansas State football team. So I think the fact that, last year the team it looked a lot different. I mean, Ole Miss has some of the Razorback players that played in the game last year for Arkansas. So I don't think we really know about what Arkansas has. I think we know more about what Ole Miss has as opposed to what Arkansas has.
And interestingly enough, two of the three might not play in the game. Battled training camp injuries. Yeah. We'll see. But so on that note, everybody, and they should be, is impressed with Taylon Green, the quarterback at Arkansas. Little banged up in the Ole Miss game last year. I don't think Ole Miss fans got to see really what he was capable of. State fans got to see what he was truly capable of last year. But what have you seen so far this year, regardless of competition level?
I think Taylon Green, in the second year under Bobby Petrino, has really come on. He's a little more accurate with his passes, and I know he had 2 interceptions in the game against Arkansas State. On one of them, he was basically going off of what should have happened and didn't really read the defense. He was just throwing to an area knowing that he should have had a wide-open receiver there, and a linebacker for Arkansas State didn't go with a certain player that he probably should have went with. So it's kind of like a missed assignment by the defense, but it's like, oh, wait, here's a football, let me catch it situation. But he's run the football well. Last year, they played Auburn early in the season, and he kind of had a run to where he jumped and tried to kind of jump over an Auburn Tiger and ended up like kicking him in the face mask or the chest or what have you. And he had a similar play on Saturday against Arkansas State where he leapt over a defender, and the defender was trying to dive and take his legs out. The defender ended up getting hurt on the play because he ran into one of his own players. And so it just shows you the type of athlete that Taylor Green is. He's a little faster. He's a little more muscular this year, but he's a little bit heavier as well. But I think it's the muscle that has him in that shape, and he's in really good shape. And so far, so good for Taylor Green, the quarterback of the Razorbacks.
What about his weapons? It looks like so far they've spread the ball around a lot, which, again, the competition level may contribute to that. But if you're looking at a couple of wide receivers in particular that Ole Miss needs to be, most worried about, who would those guys be?
I would say Omega Blake off the top. It seems like Omega Blake might be his go-to guy, but he has spread the ball around. I mean, 6 touchdown passes in the first game, I think, to 5 different receivers. C.J. Brown caught 2 touchdown passes in the first game. He's one that you have to worry about. Now, Monte Harrison was the 30-year-old former baseball player, wide receiver. Well, he broke his foot in the game against Arkansas State, so he's out. Don't have to worry about him. But he does have some weapons. He's got weapons at the tight end position as well. A tight end caught a touchdown against Arkansas State. Tight end caught a touchdown against Alabama A&M early to begin the season. So he has weapons and the backfield. You look at what he has in the backfield as well. Mike Washington had a nice run on the second play from scrimmage. I want to say it was a 53-yard touchdown run for the Razorbacks. And then Braylon Russell's back. He trucked a guy at the 3-yard line against Arkansas State and was able to get into the end zone. So Taylor Green has some weapons, and we'll see what happens on Saturday when they go up against SEC competition for the first time.
Has there been an indication of what kind of offensive line they've got? Because that's been a big conversation down here. Ole Miss, they have the leading receiver and rusher in the SEC, so it's hard to criticize. But there's been some issues with the offensive line, especially the interior. What about Arkansas through these 2 games against lesser opponents? What kind of unit do they have protecting him?
I think the 2 sacks that he took against Alabama A&M were probably more on Taylor Green than it was on Alabama A&M getting pressure through the offensive line. I think he just held on to the football too long, didn't decide to run or get rid of it on time. There was a clean pocket against Arkansas State. There were times when he might have gotten flushed, but he, for the most part, the way I remember it, it was a clean pocket for Taylor Green, and the offensive line held up well, led by Fernando Carmona, who is back again for the Razorbacks this year. And so I think the offensive line play has kind of improved for the Arkansas Razorbacks as opposed to last year.
And then on the other side of the ball, so Austin Simmons has had some early turnover issues in these games, but, I mean, the Ole Miss offense under Lane Kiffin has explosive possibilities. Are you concerned there? What does Arkansas defensively look like right now?
They look pretty good. Xavier Sori at linebacker last week had an interception, was all over the field making tackles. Not sure how the injury report's going to look on him. He did leave the game with, I believe they called it a thigh contusion. I don't think I guess that's just a bruise. So I'm sure he got treatment all week, will continue to get treatment, and he should be good to go on Saturday. Cam Ball is back, a 5th-year defensive tackle. He's a guy that can get in there and wreck some havoc. They were able to get to Jalen Rayner, the Arkansas State quarterback, last week in the game in Little Rock, and their big win over Arkansas State. So the defense looks solid. Now, at times, they did give up an opening drive to Alabama A&M where they went right down the field and scored on them, and it tied the game at 7-7. But those were the only points Alabama A&M scored. Arkansas State scored on a kickoff return for a touchdown, and they had to throw a pass to an eligible offensive lineman. So that's the only 2 ways that they scored in the game against Arkansas. And so I think the defense has improved, and Travis Williams was really excited about how his defense played after the game on Saturday.
Last year was a bit of an outlier. This rivalry, which is what it is, but between these 2 programs have produced some pretty incredible football games in recent years. I think that's coming back this year. Do you agree?
I think it can be close. I remember, some night games over there in Oxford. Crazy things happen. I remember 4th and 25 down there on the sideline thinking, what just happened? Did I actually see what Hunter Henry and Alex Collins, rest in peace, just did? And yes, I did see that. Last year I think was an outlier. It seems like of late these two teams have played really close football games. Arkansas unable to get kind of over the hump at times, it seems like, but I expect this game to be, one touchdown, maybe a touchdown, a field goal difference. I think the betting lines has this one pegged pretty close. I would be shocked if it's more than a 2-touchdown advantage for either team.
All right, really good stuff there. Let's head to the comments. Good news. Luke has as a go. Yes, get the first look at him, and if wouldn't be surprised if, for whatever reason, if Austin Simmons is limited, doesn't play at all, gets knocked out, whatever, you would see more tight end use both in the run game and in the pass game. I mean, regardless, honestly, if he's a full go or not, you can put both Daquan Wright and Luke Kez on the field at the same time. I am so curious. I want to see that. I want to see a 2 tight end set. They've got the guys to do that now. We'll see how useful he can be for this team. But line drop earlier this week has been a clear indication of Austin Simmons being questionable to play. Also appreciate the kind words about the podcast, guys. Really, really appreciate you. Think with his injury and the defense they are facing, it's paramount Ole Miss establishes the ground game with their talented running back room. Big game for Kejuan Lacey, big game for the offensive line, and schematically as well. They did some different things in the second half. I know sometimes if I bring up Cole Kublik, Ole Miss fans will roll their eyes at me because of Arkansas, ironically, a few years ago. But he has come on our radio show since then, and he said, find a spot in the game where I talked about Lane Kiffin taking players with him to Auburn. And I took him at that challenge, and I could not find it. It was not him that actually brought that up anyway. But he understands offensive line and schemes as good as anybody that covers college football. He's probably the best at it. And he talked about the different things that Ole Miss did running the football after the bad start. And they'll have to do some more of that in this game as well. But big game for Lacey as well. With how much Lane likes to troll, watch both quarterbacks be on the field for the first play of the game. That would be pretty funny. As Caleb Odom go, he's not on the injury report. I think with Has returning, though, you might see less of him moving forward. Got to get Kejuan going early. They've got to do that in every game. I mean, they started – it wasn't just Simmons' interceptions that started poorly in Lexington. Run blocking was atrocious. And, yes, the 2 interceptions were awful. Pass blocking was not good either. But it wasn't just the 2 picks that contributed to the bad start for Ole Miss in that game. Go back to the start of 2020. There hasn't been a game where Lane hasn't had a starting quarterback play unless you count the Sugar Bowl. Matt Corral got hurt early in that one. Early on scoring, no turnovers, and lights out defense. Yeah. I think Arkansas's team could be the best offensive unit Ole Miss faces in league play. Interesting. So LSU so far through just 2 games has not at all looked like people thought that they would, myself included. And, you can roll your eyes at this if you'd like, but Louisiana Tech is the team that you're supposed to light up regardless of what happened the week prior, and they didn't at all. So Oklahoma's passing offense is going to be a bear. They can't run, though. Arkansas is kind of scary because they haven't played a good team yet. Just can't get a good sense of how good they are. I mean, kind of similar to Ole Miss last year, right? I mean, they've played 2 awful football teams. There's no way of knowing truly what they actually are. believe Trinidad can sling it as well and accurate. We'll see. No, we will see. He certainly put up great numbers at that level. They said they wouldn't run him, and yet here we are with an injury in part caused by design quarterback runs. Yeah. If only Big East had more eligibility to run the Wildcat for 4 quarters. You do have a quality backup, though, if it comes down to that. Cannot say that an Ole Miss fan should be scared of Arkansas. So based on the Hogs beating up on 2 high school teams, they're completely untested. Very much so, and this is a totally different environment. By the way, it looks like Arkansas returned a lot of tickets in their allotment because Ole Miss is doing $50 seats. If you guys don't have tickets yet, and I looked, and the ones that are available are in the Arkansas sections. They returned some of their allotment, it seems. So you can go for cheaper than you would expect. They're on the website. So if Simmons can go and they get the run game going, maybe we could see a 50-50-ish split, especially near the end zone. Gary with 38-24 prediction. Since the running game is going strong on Saturday, I do think Ole Miss will have success running the football in this game. They have the roster advantage at basically every spot, as well as home field advantage and the better coaching staff. I do think this game is going to be on the closer side, but I like Ole Miss to win. Me as well. I think Taylor Green is just going to cause issues because he's just very athletic and Petrino can coach. But yes, I think Ole Miss will find a way to win this game, and I think it'll be frustrating early because Green's going to be good. Always seem to play good at home besides last year's Kentucky game. Yeah, they've been very good at home under Lane Kiffin with the exception of that. It's just been exceptional at home. Feed Kiwan. I have a feeling they will. Austin with the super chat. Appreciate you, my friend. Thank you a ton for that. You said, thanks for giving us an escape from the depressing real world. How do you go on the radio and talk to people after tragedies like yesterday? It was, I'll be honest, I was distracted. I was distracted because, I mean, it happened not too terribly long before the radio show started. And you can't be distracted doing something like that. So it was kind of tough. But I think, Austin, what our role is to be that distraction. I think that's kind of the whole point of sports conversation media. It's a little bit different when you have like a real reporter. Their job is to inform, but they also fit into this category as well. And it's not just days like yesterday, but although days like yesterday kind of exacerbate the point. Life sucks. And it's hard. And there are great things about it. We love it. We love our kids. We love our family. We love our friends, all that. So there's a lot of good things, but life is hard and life sucks. And what I think our role should be is to provide the distraction that people need from stuff. When you're driving home from work, or if you listen to all 3 hours of the show in podcast form or whatever, what I hope that you're able to do is just kind of block all the other stuff out in your life. I don't subscribe to the idea because we didn't talk about it yesterday other than, hey, we've gotten a bunch of messages. We know it's a very intense feeling that you all have, but we are the sports show, and the discussion around that will happen extensively on our other 2 main big shows. What we should do and continue to do is try to provide the outlet if you don't want to hear it, because there's nothing that I can offer that's profound compared to what people that are in that world could. if you want that, there's places to go for that. But I do think if people want the distraction, they should be given that. And that's what our role is to provide that, both in everyday life and both when things are really extreme, like with what happened yesterday. So did that make sense? But I think life is really hard and people are looking for outlets, and that's what sports provides. And that's why I'm so passionate about you, the fans, getting treated the right way. That's why I talk about you so much, because you gravitate towards and you love sports so much because it's something that makes you feel good, even when it makes you sad, because sports often makes you sad too. But it's an outlet. That's what it's supposed to be. So you just have to try to put the distraction away. And I'm telling you, yesterday it was very distracting. It was hard not to just consume all of it. But yeah, kind of think Arkansas is a one-man show. Have a couple of good defensive linemen, I think, as well. Really appreciate you, Austin. Thank you for the super chats, man. Really, really, very, very, very much appreciate you. Where were you 24 years ago today? I was in Bonnie Wallen, who was not the teacher. She was the substitute, but a family friend. Second grade class is where I was. But I do remember, and did the annual watch of ESPN's best bit of journalism that they've ever done, The Man in the Red Bandana. It's truly, if you guys have not watched it, you need to. It is the best story that they've ever covered. A Boston College lacrosse player, former Boston College lacrosse player, was in the tower. I think it was 18 people that he led to safety and would just go back and bring down more and go back and bring down more and just keep going up. And ultimately he went up and was not able to come back. And the way that he's been honored since then, and the perspectives of the people that he saved and the way that they described him is, that's the story that I watch every year because it always gets shared. And I think the further, and I was very young, so I don't remember it from the same way a lot of people do, but the further we get from it, I hope we make it a point to inform young people that were not involved or around when it happened, I should say. Inform them of what it was like and how everything looked and felt and what the response was and all of that. So, yeah. I expect Arkansas to play in a lot of high-scoring games compared to the rest of the league. I do too. I think Georgia State is better than both of Arkansas's opponents. Georgia State and Arkansas State is going to be a heck of a game if they play each other. Thing is, other than John Mateer, I'm not impressed by any other team offensively on Ole Miss's schedule right now after Arkansas. Yeah, right now anyway. Right now. Jalen Green will hold the ball and also move out of the pocket very quickly. He's a great athlete, but is very mistake-prone. Had 2 bad interceptions last week. So, could be wrong, but I can't buy Arkansas has improved on defense after their roster got raided. I can't either. We'll see, though. We will see. Hope Has isn't playing too early just because it's Arkansas. He's been working his way back for a little while. Is Braxton playing? I don't know. I don't know. But seeing Fletcher be a full go is big for Ole Miss, I think. I think the MVP of this game is going to be Lacey again. Reminds me of a baby Zach Evans. That's a good comparison. Has and Wright, both will also help the running game a lot more. That's why I want to see both of them on the field at the same time. Ultimate sneaky strategy. Simmons rests this week. Trinidad pulls the start. He, Lacey, and Diggs come out in triple option for 60 minutes. Heck yeah. That's what I'm talking about. First quarter may be the most important one in this game. Absolutely. You just protect the football for the first 15 minutes. Jordan, wow. Been really busy lately between deployments, birth of my third son, and moving houses. I missed the show. Well, congratulations, man. You got your hands full, but thank you for everything that you've done, and congrats on all of the life changes. Prediction on this game? Yes. Something like 35-28, 35-31. I think there's a chance it's going to be close. I think Green's going to make plays. I worry about Austin's health. Heard the stories today about the thigh injury had on the radio show. 1 out of 10, how awkward was it? A 12. That is a true story. It is a 150% non-embellished true story. I might clip it and share it tomorrow. I don't know if I should, but $50 a ticket is cheap. Yes, it is. It absolutely is. And I'm glad that Ole Miss is doing that. I mean, if Arkansas is not going to sell out their allotment, you don't just want the tickets to sit there. And so you'll have to sit amongst the hogs, but it sounds like they're not traveling particularly well for this one. So yeah, because that's the sections that they're in. Little Rock to Oxford is what, 3 hours, I think. I think Ole Miss wins by about a touchdown, 35-28, something like that. The test last week will be beneficial for this game, especially when they overcame adversity, right? They've established that they didn't panic in that kind of setting. You say, appreciate the hard work you do. I guess those guys hate adding Cross too. Yeah, Cross, he's not. He does his morning show now. This is his morning show now. Hey, they're wearing powders this weekend, so everyone will be happy when they break out the powder red-gray for LSU, as they should. I don't like the I don't like the stripe out. I don't like the stripe out at all. It's just me. Has makes an appearance, but he's not 100%. Wright's got a labrum injury, so watch for the arm brace. Big game for Bruckler with another 25 to 40 plays. Interesting username there, sir. Played well last week. So, I mean, they're very clearly comfortable and using him. So that's why I keep talking about 2 tight end sets. You've got the bodies to do it. But I don't know if that's even in that offense's DNA. But, yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, if they're going to keep running the football like they did when he was in the game, those 25 to 40 snaps are justified. Good stuff there. Absolutely good stuff. Arkansas game 2 years ago, which was close, could be a higher scoring version of that. Yes. I think the over is the safe bet. What is the over? I'll look it up so you don't have to answer. But, wow, Green Bay's just absolutely – they're going to be a problem, guys. I hate to tell you. The Jerry Jones done messed up. 62.5. Ooh, that's high. That's high. Thoughts on the other games? I think Tennessee's finally going to get Georgia. I really do. I'm so fascinated in Vanderbilt, South Carolina. I mean, this is a huge game for Clark Lee. What a massive moment this can be for Vanderbilt football. Was really impressed with them defensively last week. I worry about South Carolina's front limiting Vanderbilt and their ability to score. So this could be kind of like a ugly, low-scoring game, but this is a huge moment for Clark Lee. And that game's buried on the SEC network, obviously the same time as Ole Miss Arkansas. So I don't think many of you will be watching that. Wouldn't be surprised if Florida and LSU's closer than a lot of people think it's going to be. I think Florida's defense is going to give LSU fits, and it'll be an issue. Let's see. Wisconsin, Alabama. Alabama's going to win by a lot. I think that people are going to buy into fool's gold that game will create. But anyway, love you, Borky. Love you too, man. Offense scored 30 points in 3 quarters on a quality Kentucky defense. They have potential. Yes, they do. Crosses a traitor to the show, and history shall not remember him. Good. I'm glad you think so. Like the stripe out, but it looked bad last year against Kentucky with the cloudy weather making it flat. Also, in Kentucky, traveled well too, kind of messed it up a little bit. Fanny will beat South Carolina. Georgia wins. Missouri escaped. Kansas, they did. You aren't giving the complete injury report. My friend, there is 2 players on the injury report. I don't know what to tell you. That there's 2 names. So Traylon Ray listed as out. He's been out all season. Jalen Braxton listed as questionable. That's it. That is the complete injury report. You might be talking about the one from yesterday, but they change. Tomorrow's might be different too. But that is the complete injury report. They got 2 names on it. That's it. Florida plays LSU close, then the wheels come off later. Yeah, you guys haven't even gotten to week 3 before you're seeing the Kiffin 2 stuff. Hadn't even gotten to week 3. That to me, shows that the college football media's kind of broken. Like we really, ahead of a big weekend slate of games, cannot write about anything else. You're talking about replacement candidates for a coach that hasn't been fired in the second week of September. You are not creative enough to come up with anything else to write about with this weekend's games. I mean, you've got Clemson, Georgia Tech, which is super compelling. Alabama, Wisconsin, big brands. Georgia, Tennessee, that speaks for itself. South Florida, what a story they are with a huge opportunity at Miami. But regardless of this weekend's results, they're in the driver's seat to be the G5 team in the playoff. Arkansas, Ole Miss with an injured quarterback. And could you see a D2 guy get a start in the SEC who's super athletic? That's compelling as hell. Florida, LSU, that's just on its own compelling as hell. A&M, Notre Dame. Again, that all of these things, these storylines that you could be writing about, and that's what you choose. That just shows laziness to me. That's laziness. But I guess you got to get your clicks somehow. Pulling for Notre Dame over A&M because you're not an SEC guy. I hear you. Think Vandy wins. I do too. Wisconsin is terrible. Luke Fickell has failed there. There was I don't think it was ever real because obviously it never materialized from the Ole Miss side, but I do think that there was some kind of interest or conversation between Ole Miss and Luke Fickell back in 2022. There was something there, but obviously it worked out best for Ole Miss. Yeah, did Lane pay me off? Yeah, he paid me off by sharing the league's official injury report. Crazy, we're 3 games in after this week. It goes by. It takes forever to get here, and it goes by so fast. Don't know if they'll ever wear the white with a red accent away uniforms ever again. I have no idea. But the powder white gray look is a really good one. If that's gone, that's unfortunate. What about Oregon then? Yeah, with the uniform thing, yeah, they get special treatment. And I agree with you. I do think Oregon's the best team in the country. It's only been 2 games, right? So things can change. But Oregon is the only team so far that has looked to be without a flaw. I'm sure they've got one, and I'm sure it'll get exposed at some point. But they've played 2 games, and one of them was a billion-point win over Oklahoma State. So that's not a nobody. They are, to this point anyway, and it's still very early, the only complete team. What's my opinion on the AP poll since the lady that moved Florida up 2 spots stated that she didn't think it matters? That, and then there's somebody that covers LSU that had some really odd voting behavior, and then he went on a podcast to explain it, and his explanation wasn't adequate. I'm the type of person that thinks polls matter. I think they matter. Not much, but they do matter. That they shape narratives. They shape the minds of the people that make the real poll with the playoff poll coming up. It absolutely it shapes viewership trends. It helps with exposure. The AP poll is not nothing. People use it. It does matter. It does have an impact. And if you can't do the job, don't take on the job. It's not like financially lucrative for these people. So if you can't do it, if covering a game and then keeping up with other results is too difficult for you, don't do the job. It's not that hard. It's really not that hard. But if you think it is, then don't do it. But to just be totally dismissive of the poll and be goofy about it is because it doesn't matter. That's not right. It does. People use it. It does matter. It has some degree of impact on how people look at games and weekends and all that. Just call what your shirt says. Yeah. Welcome to Boil Water Alert, Mississippi. It's a good shirt. Got it when I actually lived in Jackson proper. So if Chambliss plays and he's good, let's not have a Wally Pipp talk. Simmons is the quarterback. Absolutely. Yeah. No. Simmons very well could play every snap on Saturday. If he doesn't, he will when he returns. So anyway, we'll be live after the game. Looking forward to talking about that with you guys post-game. Enjoy yourself. If you're going to Oxford, be safe. There are tickets still online because of returned allotment. And so get them and go and have a great time. And I'll see you guys on Saturday night. Y'all have a good one.